Yeah, it is perfect.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Yes, and we're live. Great. We had some technical difficulties. Where yesterday it was just, it took a while to go live. Today as well, which is cool. I love that. And a quick warning to everybody: my kids will definitely come in. Like if they don't within the next 25 minutes, I'll be very surprised because they're here. And my wife hasn't come home yet, and they're absolutely going bananas. So let's see how this goes. But anyway, let's get the show on the road. Welcome everybody to yet another live interview with Become a Famous Father, and today Franco Urbaez.
Oh, I love that. The way you pronounce that, man. You hit it right on the head, dude.
I try to say it, like kind of like Spanish way,
Uh-huh.
I heard you say it. It was, how do you say that? Because I watched that video.
I do it the English. I do it English style for everybody.
Right?
Franco Urbaez, yeah.
Yes, that was it. I was like, which one I'm going to do? Man, I'm going to do it my way. It doesn't matter. At least, okay, I got to back up. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm so selfish. Like people always ask me, like, dude, like they have to ask me 5 times before we go live or we go on a podcast. Dude, can you repeat your name, please? I'm like, to be honest, I don't care. You can call me Huff and Fluffer like they did when I was in the United States. I don't care. People don't mind. People just care about the value that I deliver and not really about my name. Right? That's the way I look at it. Anyway, Franco, before we start off, man, but diving a little bit into your origin story, I got one big question for you because I saw that picture, right? The picture that everybody's seen if you saw beforehand, before we started going live, right? And you used that picture saying like, this is my why. And it was like, yes, that's so powerful, right? And that must mean you must have some keys, some nuggets that you can share with us of how you have scaled your business while making sure that you are able to connect with your kids to make those pictures, right? Because if you're not connected, you would never have your kids be like, I don't want to wait with you. Who are you? Right?
Oh man, that's tough, dude. Yeah, that's tough, dude. Absolutely, bro. So for me, it's like super important. Like as a father, like I guess my priorities are set in place, right? So like in my world, my priorities come like God first, and then my family by a large margin. Like so, God first by a large margin, and then my family, right? But ultimately, it's my wife first, and maybe a lot of people don't think about that. They think about their kids being first, but for me, it's definitely my wife first because I want my kids to know that she is the most important woman in the world to me, the most important, human being in the world to me. That they see that so that they have in their mind, like when you get married to somebody, you know what I mean? Like that's the type of marriage that I want, you know what I mean? Like where they just see my wife and I just, just in love with each other, right? Like I want my daughter to grow up knowing like this is the way a husband should treat her, and my son saying like this is the way that you should treat a woman, right? Yep. So that they see that and they have like like dedicated time just for mom, and then my kids, excuse me, I'm still coming over a cough, but yeah, so like they see that as like the order priorities for me, and then underneath that comes my businesses, right? Sure. And I have 4 different businesses. So I make sure that my businesses are steered around my lifestyle, serving my lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So that's like I make sure that like I run my entire day and my entire week by my calendar to make sure that there's time allocated for my children, there's time allocated for my wife, there's time allocated for God, and essentially like my businesses are serving that.
Right on. Yeah, I love that. I really appreciate you immediately sharing like and being open and honest with that. Like my wife, no, okay, faith first, but then it's my wife, right? Yeah. And most men have that other way around. Like every single client that I've spoken with, it's always like I always ask because I gotta know, right? It's like no, my kids are everything. My kids come first. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like I don't judge you. However, give yourself a couple of years, keep saying that, and you will end up without kids and without a wife.
Yeah, man.
Like, and so I'm really appreciate that you share that because it's very important. I learned from that. I made that mistake as well, right? I kept saying to my wife, look, kids come first. And then, whenever I have some time left, and then it's your turn. And I flipped that. And now that I changed that, everything just seems in balance and working out better. So I'm really appreciative you sharing that. All right. Yeah. So, man, share a little bit about you, right? You shared your setup already. You're married and you got 2 kids, boy and a girl, right? But share a little bit about, your origin story, where you came from, etc., and how you ended up here. How do you ended up getting the Two Comma Club award, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So taking it way back when, my father was an entrepreneur, right? He was somebody that we didn't get to see, right? And he actually worked like 16, 17, 18-hour days and had to travel and commute 3 hours to New York, living in Pennsylvania, to work there, and 3 hours commute back home. And whenever he's home, he's sleeping and we can't interrupt him. You know what I mean? So we saw him on the weekends, but after a crazy long week like that, I'll never get the picture out of my mind. It's just like he's on his couch and, or like on the couch, and then he always has like his hand like over covering his eyes because he's taking a nap all the time on the weekends as well. Now, I do not resent him. Right? I'm super eternally grateful to my dad for the work that he put in, because what he got us out of in putting in that work was living in an apartment in New York with cockroaches and rats and stuff like that. And he actually built a house in Pennsylvania to free us from like all that stuff, right? And so he put in a lot of work to make sure. Are you kids there?
Oh, heck yeah! I told you. What's up? You want to say hi to Franco?
Hey.
He broke it.
What is that, bro?
All right. See, Daddy is not. Do you think Daddy's going to fix this? Yeah. Daddy has no choice, right? He kind of has to. It's only a 25-minute interview, so no pressure. All right, let's see. We'll do it with a little bit of brute force. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. Yeah, now everybody can see how. There you go. Okay, what do you say to Franco?
Gracias.
Gracias to Papa. To Franco, you say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I don't put you.
Well, that you don't say. That's not very nice. Okay? Yeah. All right, so now everybody has seen my little one.
What's his name?
His name is Alex.
Alex?
He's the one that had the birthday on the 24th on Sunday when we were all at the event.
Yeah.
My birthday as well. So that's him.
Cool. That's awesome.
He's a handful.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Robert. Go ahead.
It's okay. So my dad, like, he did all that work to get us out of the situation that we were in. And now today I'm able to run 4 businesses because of the groundwork and the foundation that he laid for me, right?
Exactly.
He allowed me to see like, that it was potential. Like there was actually like, you are able to like make the type of money that he was making and like we were making as entrepreneurs, firstly. But secondly, now I actually had the education. He sent me to Penn State and all these different things, and like always supported me throughout like my college years and everything like that, to continue to foster my education and my learning and stuff like that, so that I can actually have the skills and knowledge that you need in order to run a business and make it serve you and not the other way around, right? Like my dad was a slave to a job. Now we freed him from that, and like now like he's able to travel and all these different things. But so many business owners, so many aspiring entrepreneurs, they are slaves to their businesses, right? And have created a job for themselves, right? So in my case, I'm a very, very big systems and processes guy, where I say like, okay, cool, what are my non-negotiables? My non-negotiables are, I will not, you know what I mean, allow my my business to overtake my family time. That's the other one.
Yep, this is Diego.
Diego, how's it going, Diego?
Diego. Franquita, no, Franco. Very good. All right, boys. You mind going into the living room for a little bit? And then you can finish this live interview? Yes? Can you close the door, please? Muchas gracias. I knew it. As soon as the small one comes in and he knows that Daddy doesn't get upset, which I never do, then the older one wants to come in as well. Say hi.
Yeah. No sweat. So essentially, I actually, with that business that my dad I was working in, we started to have like, one of our clients was paying us $20,000 a week, and that went into $5,000 a week, like overnight. They were like practically going bankrupt and stuff.
Wow.
And so that nearly took us down and made us go bankrupt and stuff, I actually had to take a crazy severe pay cut and go and work at a full-time job for 3 years. That was like while the business got like up. While I was doing that, I was learning so much about systems and processes and like all that stuff, and like all the areas that we failed in our business that led us to this point. But I learned so much from that experience. And then I was like, okay, cool. So we need marketing. And then so I came across Ty Lopez, and he was like, okay, cool. Like, you can start up a marketing agency. I said, okay, I'm just going to use the information that I learned there for my own business. And then what I realized was like, wow, in doing this, a digital marketing agency is like the easiest and fastest way to like really scale a business. You know what I mean? Because literally like almost no overhead. And like I can run like 27 clients off of $600 a month in software expenses, and that's it. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I have clients all over the world and everything like that. So so I started up a digital marketing agency, right? And then I actually started working with a lot of my clients, and I went through a whole bunch of different niches and everything like that until I started working with coaches and course creators to actually build out webinars for them, and worked with an awesome crew, like an awesome company that is just like my ideal customer avatar, like really strong Christians that are looking to change the world. And we did something awesome for them. Yeah, I helped in a very small way, help that company get to the 2 Comma Club.
No, nice. That's awesome, man. I love it. And Ty Lopez, that must be fun.
Yeah. That was like, it was a Facebook ad, for my first ever webinar and stuff that I saw. And that's what essentially I was like blown away. I was like, first of all, I didn't even like the guy's style and everything like that. But I was like, I don't even like him. I'm about to buy $1,000 course from him. So I'm like, and I've never spent $997 on like any sort of like training or course or anything like that at all. I was like, so if I'm going to learn marketing from anybody, it should be this guy. He can get me, like a hater at the time, like to buy from him. I was like, if I'm going to learn anything, it should be from him. And then, and so I did that, and it spiraled into like a whole bunch of tens and then hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching and personal development and everything like that from like the greatest digital and business marketing minds of the world today. And yeah, that's how I think I got onto the spiral of success through the coaching and mentorship.
Nice. So let's go in. I was going to say buttload. I do. I have tons of questions, but let's go on to that a little bit, because that's a very powerful thing, right? At that time, you were like, wow, $997, not sure, probably thinking like, am I going to do this? Yes or no, right? Which takes me back when I was, when I started with my first coach, which was $3K, I believe, if I can remember correctly. Maybe he even lowered it a little bit. And and I see a lot of people now, because Black Fridays came out, of course. Akbar Sheikh, Chad, all these guys. Then they got massive coaching, and they all got their deals out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was talking to other people also, like, oh, I don't know if I invest this. Then I saw that video of you, and you said like, I just joined Russell Brunson's inner circle, 18K, right?
Yep.
So how do you look back now at that moment where you decide like, okay, yes, I'm going to do it? And what would be your advice to anybody that is now in your situation when you were there? Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So for me, you go from like a 997 course. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that or afford it or something like that, right? And then what it did for me, it didn't give me the results that I was looking for, but what it did was open up my eyes to the possibilities. Right, of what was out there. Okay, and it was like I paid $997 for a whole world to open up to me. Okay, and then I realized, all right, cool. Well, the difference between courses and a coach is the ability for feedback and course correction. Right, so like you can as much as you try to like share something to like, like this course is gonna be sold to a whole lot of people and everything like that, right? As much as you can try to share what you know to a whole bunch of people through like a training module and everything like that, a lot of people are gonna get it and a lot of people won't, right? But those that don't, doesn't mean that your course is a failure, your course isn't good or something like that. It just means that they needed course correction, right? They needed to be able to get that feedback. Am I understanding the materials well enough to be able to actually take this stuff and implement it in my life and my situation, right? That's where a coach comes into play, because a coach will look into your exact situation and say, okay, cool, look, this is what I would do if I were you in this situation, and having the experience and the wealth of knowledge. I love coaching because you're literally buying somebody else's life, right? And their life experiences and stuff. The coach is before them and in their mentorship and like all the money that they've spent out in learning all that stuff, right? Like you're literally buying somebody's life. So for me, when I'm like investing in coaches and everything like that, and I've invested like into a lot of different coaches and everything like that. When I do that, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what is the expertise that this guy's bringing to the table? Like, who did he learn from? Who did he get mentored by? And not only that, like now I know I can leverage that information from him and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, right? So that I become like a powerhouse entrepreneur. Why?
Mm-hmm.
With a coach, you're condensing time. You know what I mean? It would take you X amount of years or months or, decades or something like that in order for you to get there on your own. When you're paying for the information, you're immediately like condensing time and shortcutting your success. So for me, it was difficult because I was like, okay, this guy has, and there's so much evidence, right? Like Russell Brunson, there was so much evidence. Like this guy manufactures, this company, ClickFunnels, manufactures millionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling me on stage, and I followed him for a long time, and I like trust him, and I look up to him and admire him and stuff. And he's telling me that in a year he can get me there because it's a formula. Why? Because it took him, 3 years to make his first $1 million, and then it took him, and then he did it in a year, and then he did it in a month. And then he did it, and he broke the Guinness World Record, and he made $3 million in 90 minutes. Right? And then he broke the record again the very next year, and he made $12 million in like 60 minutes. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to learn from anybody, it's this guy. He's got a formula. And I know that if I can just, I'm the type of person where I can just jump into something like that, a proven system, and having the guidance by somebody who's actually already done it before, and not just for himself, but for countless others. He's already done it. So because of that, I was like, there's no reason why I can't have success. And so I went into that program. He was selling me on like a Funnel Hacking Live, and I texted my wife. I'm like, baby, I'm in trouble. Russell's pitching me. You know what I mean? He's like, there's nothing I can do, right? And then she texted me back. She said, how much was it, right? I forget what it was. Like that, they had like a payment plan, everything like that, right? But pretty much it was $18,000 for the year, right? And I texted her that. No idea how you're going to afford it, right? But she just texted me back, I trust you, baby. And that's it.
Nice.
And you almost at that point, you want her to say, no, we can't afford it. Because it makes it easy on you. But knowing like as the head of the household that I have to provide for my family, I knew that this was the right thing, but the decision was on me. I could lead us down. It could be one of the biggest mistakes of my life, or it could have been the biggest opportunity of my life. Right. What I wasn't willing to do was look back, like stay in the same place over the next years and stuff like that, look back and regret that I didn't pull the trigger when I could have.
Yeah.
And that's what prompted me to join.
Exactly. That's wow.
Yeah.
I hope anybody is listening right now, or if you're listening to this in the recording, you picked up on that, because that was so many gold nuggets. And as I said, I talked to somebody just the other day, 2 days ago, and they exactly stuck in that. Like, yeah, but what if I pay so much money, and what if it doesn't work? Dude, but what if it does? Like, the possibilities. I mean, look at you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how long did it, from the moment you took that, how long did it take you to get on stage and receive the 2 Comma Club award?
It was a year. See,
insane.
But even better than that, a coach can show you blind spots, right? Things that you don't know are missing, right? And so it was a few tweaks from him and really like a kick in the butt, right? That prompted me to actually finally launch my thing. I built a funnel in 3 days, and then I fielded sales calls, and I promoted it and I launched it. And I fielded sales calls for the next 3 days, and I ended up making $84,000 in contract sales over the next week after I joined. So I made the decision to join the $18,000 program. 6 days later, I have 7 contract sales for an entire year for $12,000, $84,000.
$84,000. So you already, what is that?
Like a 4x. Yeah, it's like a 4x, 5x return. Like,
I mean, anybody that would, look, you invest 18K and I guarantee you 4x. I mean, I would sign for that. I think anybody that's listening right now would be like, whoa, where do do it? If I can, I sign up right now, right?
But that's the crazy thing about coaching is that there's no guarantees, right? Because the only thing a good coach can give you is the knowledge, the education, the tools, the resources, the accountability and support that you need. The thing that you have to bring to the table is execution, your ability to execute.
Absolutely.
And if you can do that, if you're one of those types of people that can jump into a proven system and having guidance by somebody who's actually already done it before, and you can just come into something like that and execute, then it's very, very, very difficult for you not to have success.
Exactly. But
provided that the coach has a proven track record.
Of course. But that's the thing, right? Because I was asking this guy, is like, do you believe in, the coach's person that you want to invest, that he can get you there? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so then why haven't you bought yet? He's like, I don't know. I said, I know. It's because you don't trust yourself. Right? Yeah. You don't have the confidence in yourself that you can do it. But if you have confidence in the person, just, go for it. Right?
Exactly.
You definitely, I mean, I saw you at the event. For people that don't know, we went to an event now 1.5 weeks ago, right, in Orlando. It was absolutely great. This guy helped me out a lot, actually. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, because we only got 5 minutes left. But you're confident, right? How did you build over the years? Or have you? Let me ask a different name, because maybe you've always been confident. Have you always had that kind of confidence, or have you, build a system over time and just worked on it to build up your confidence over time?
I'm glad that I come across as confident. Is that true?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I saw. I sneak peeked a little bit when you were going live. I was like, yeah, I like that. The way you were sitting, the way you were contacting everybody. I'm like, yup. Dude,
that's awesome.
Who knows what's up? You got to pay attention.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Confidence is incredibly important, because it's one of the first things I teach like my students and stuff. I call it the entrepreneur's dilemma. Okay. And it's very long-winded, so I'm not going to be able to like explain everything, but I'm going to give you like a quick rundown, if it's cool with you, of what that looks like. Right. And let me see if I might already have like an image up for you guys, but if not, I'll just draw it real quick. And what it looks like, I don't think I'm finding it, but essentially what the entrepreneur's dilemma is, get a Sharpie marker for you, right? I call it the entrepreneur's dilemma because every single entrepreneur struggles with this, okay? And the thing is that unless you know what's happening, you get blindsided by it, right? So what happens is like you're getting blindsided by it, and then you're like going like in this roller coaster ride of emotions and stuff like that, and not really knowing what's going on. And then until all of a sudden like you're out of the funk, and then you just go. But when you know what's going on, then you can put the enemy in front of you, and now you can fight, right? Call it the entrepreneur's dilemma. It goes like this, right? My marker's gonna die down. Okay, so the top one, right, is your circumstance, or
yeah, you gotta move it a little bit. All right, there you go.
Top one is your circumstance or your story, and the bottom one, okay, is the cash flow. Okay, your money in the bank. Okay, here's what happens. Okay, the left side of the spectrum, okay, is where you do not want to be. Okay, and the right side of the spectrum is where you want to be. Okay, but here's what happens. If your story, the story that you're telling yourself, okay, if it is like in a negative situation or something happens in your life that's a negative thing, okay, then what happens is you get stressed out, okay? So right, stress there, okay? And then when you get stressed out, okay, if you stay there too long, okay, you're going to get overwhelmed, okay? Now you're going to feel overwhelmed, okay? And then when you feel overwhelmed and you stay there too long, okay, then you're going to get anxious, okay? And that's going to lead eventually, if you stay there too long, to depression. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, starts out with stress, then overwhelm, then anxiety, and then depression. Okay, and that's so as things happen in your life that are like negative, it'll continue to push you down in this situation. Okay, but here's what happens to your cash flow. When you're stressed out, you start doing the wrong things. Okay, the wrong actions. Okay, you start troubleshooting fires. Okay. When you do that, well, guess what happens? You're going to start to feel overwhelmed, right? Because you have like so much, and now you're just doing the wrong things. You're not doing the right things. So you're feeling like overwhelmed and anxious. Okay? And then when you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, well, let me ask you this. Like when you're in bed, like, and you feel anxious, do you want to like go and like seize the day and carpe diem? Or do you want to like pull the covers over your head and go back to sleep?
Yeah. The last one.
Right? Exactly. So what happens is you don't take any action. Okay. So that's inaction. Okay. And then that's going to cause your cash flow to diminish. And what happens is that eventually you're going to get to depression because now you're not taking any action. Overwhelm keeps building up. You get into depression, and then you go back to a job. Okay. Something that's safe and comfortable. Okay. And that's something that we don't want to get to. Okay.
Nope.
So what happens is you want to be on the right side of the spectrum. Okay. So here, once you start taking action, because this all your cash flow is directly correlated to the actions that you're taking. Okay. So over here, what happens is something good happens and you start to feel, good about it, right? And then down here, what happens is that you actually start feeling a little bit more confident, okay? Because like now we have good things that are happening and stuff. You're taking more risks, okay? You're taking risks, all right? And with risks come opportunity, right? You start to feel more confident, all this stuff, and you start to get more wins, okay? More wins. And then what happens is now, because you've developed your confidence, a network starts to appear, okay? You start to build your network. Why? Because people are attracted to the most confident person in the room, okay? And so now when you realize that, like, so with your network comes opportunity, okay? I don't know if you can see this over here.
Yeah, we're good.
Network, comes opportunity, and this is where you feel like invincible on top of the world, like Grant Cardone, Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, like all these people and stuff like that, because whenever something, they're so far in this, like they have so much opportunity, they have so much, like their problems are like, where do I spend my money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where your confidence increases and stuff. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. This is what I call a dilemma, because on any given Monday, you can be feeling any area of this spectrum. Okay. So for instance, you might be feeling good over here. You're like over here in the spectrum. You land a client. Okay. So good job. You feel good. And then 2 people quit on you. Okay. Like a team member quits and a client fires you. Okay. Well, now it's going to push you back over here. Right. The further you are in this area, any small thing will drive you deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you, for instance, were over here and you had 1 client, okay, you got a client and stuff like that, right? That's going to propel you a lot further. It's just going to continue to solidify in your mind that you're a freaking badass, right? But if you have a client or a team member, like, fall on you or quit on you, or whatever the case is, it's only going to push it back a little bit, right? But if that same thing happens here, you're already anxious and depressed, just another thing like that will just send you over, you know what I mean? Like to depression and getting a job and just getting rid of it and escape. Okay.
Exactly.
So that's the entrepreneur's dilemma. And it's pretty much like every single entrepreneur struggles with that. So the goal is to change your story, change your circumstance, change your perspective about your situation. Something that bad happens, okay, it's fine. You can just see the different perspective, get the worldview, the different perspective about like the fact that you are living in America, you're safe, you're good, and you're set. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't, for the sake of time, I don't know what else you got going on after this and stuff like that, but I just wanted to share that with the audience, man.
I love it, man. I appreciate that. Now the second thing that I want to ask is what we talked about, right? When I was struggling and searching, like, okay, what's my statement going to be? And then you shared me like, your version of what you thought, like, okay, this, I would resonate with this. And I love that. So for the last second, do you remember what you said? Can you share that just so it resonates with people? And if anybody wants, has a question about that, they're just going to have to talk to you.
Yeah, no sweat. I mean, what resonated with me about your statement you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what that was is like, I help dads break free from their business so that they can focus on helping their kids change the world. Exactly. Right. So that right there is like, like I want to do that. And that's already what I'm doing is like,
exactly.
around like that. So, so I'm focused on my kids changing the world as well, man.
Yeah, I love that. Unfortunately, time's up.
Yeah.
That sounds really harsh. So for everybody that wants, you say, I would love Franco to come back and explain us exactly how he makes sure that his kids grow up so they can make a huge impact in this world. Because I think that's huge. I think that's amazing. I think any dad, and especially all the entrepreneur dads, screw it. Any dad should have that as their main focus because it's very important. Yeah, so I bless you for that. And I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you for taking the time then to help me out with that. And mine is kind of similar, but a little different.
Yeah, no problem.
It's still good. So anyway, again, Franco, thank you so much for being on. Everybody else, thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Thank you for being on. If you love this, if you like this, if you listen to this on the podcast, etc., make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a review. Make sure to share this, and make sure to check out Franco as well.
I appreciate that, bro.
Website. How else is a good way to get in contact with you if they have any questions, for example, about the statement that you just shared, or about the business that you're doing, how you can help them, etc.?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I help agency owners and aspiring entrepreneurs start and scale a digital marketing agency to $10,000 a month really quickly. And then then they quit their jobs and then they do this full time. And then we get them to $30,000 a month or more over the next year. Right. So they can definitely go to coachfranco.com. If they go to coachfranco.com, they'll be able to see a little bit more about like how I can help somebody do that. Any aspiring entrepreneur, anyone that really doesn't know how to get started, doesn't know anything about digital marketing, to show them how I did it for myself and I to them. And I've had crazy results. And you can see like too many video testimonials. It'll take an entire night to go through them all.
Nice.
So, so anyway, so you can go to coachfranco.com. But if you want to talk to me personally as well, like I have a group, a free Facebook group where I help aspire. It's called the Big Dreamers Digital Marketing Secrets. So Big Dreamers Digital Marketing Secrets. I'm creating a movement where I'm helping aspiring entrepreneurs change the world and make it a better place. And so I'm bringing together aspiring entrepreneurs that everybody else in the world thinks that their dreams are crazy, that they really can't accomplish them. We have that source of inspiration and voice to them that tells them that they can and they should. And we've created an awesome community of like-minded aspiring entrepreneurs that have big dreams, man, and are looking to accomplish them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So for anybody listening, that link is actually in the description section. So you just can click on it and you can immediately join Franco in this group and just pick his brain literally until he doesn't have any left. I would recommend it. So I've only started.
I appreciate that, brother.
Anyway, again, thank you so much for being on. Everybody else, have an amazing time. Actually, just stay on for now 22 minutes for the next live interview with Chet Thibodeau. That's going to come on right after this one. So we'll talk to each other very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.